If you're a small business owner, would you do me a favor? I'd like for you to go get a pad of paper and a pen to take some notes. We'll be right back.
Free insurance quotes available. Call 702-432-5551.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover some points of insurance for you and your small business. The most important point is you need to separate your personal and your business risk. That's very important. You work so hard to build a successful business. The last thing you want to do is have something that happens in that business not only destroy the business, but what if it destroys your personal assets also? The one way to prevent that is through prior planning and having the proper protection. So the first area we'll cover is we're going to go ahead and talk about general liability. General liability is the liability that covers the daily operations that happen within your business. What I want you to do is take this note down. Required limits versus needed limits. If you're a professional, say you're in the healthcare profession, and let's say for example that you have a contract with a hospital or with the state. What's important is to make sure that you have the needed coverage versus the required coverage. A lot of times they'll give us on the list, they'll say that you only need $1 million per occurrence or $2 million aggregate. Well, that may be appropriate for most people, but if your business is thriving and you're booming, maybe it isn't. So make sure that you go ahead, needed versus required. Now the next area we're going to cover is the workman's compensation insurance. Now workman's compensation insurance is very important. A lot of people who have small businesses, they have a lot of 1099 employees, independent contractors. Well, kind of just like I was when I first started in insurance. So 1099 employees in most situations aren't required to have workman's compensation insurance. But if you have somebody who's a W-2 employee, you need to make sure that you have workman's compensation insurance on them. Now, what's most important with workman's compensation insurance is making sure that you're categorizing the risk, which is the job that is being done by the employee, and that you're getting a good premium for it. Now, unlike most insurances, workman's compensation insurance in the state of Nevada has limits on it. So you can't buy more than a certain amount. And that saves us money as small business owners. But the great thing is that it makes it so it's priced out. So you can actually shop for better pricing. Now remember, I always encourage you to go ahead and make sure you have the best value. But with workman's compensation insurance, make sure it's classified right and get the best premium. And we'd love to have the opportunity to help you do that. Now the next area is your business property. Now, if you have vehicles, say you have a warehouse, let's say for example that you have a bunch of tools, you need to make sure that your business property is insured properly, because we know it all happens. If there was a theft at your garage and they stole your compressors, your tools, those things are so important because you can't run your business without them. So make sure that you sit down with your insurance professional on an annual basis to review or update any additional business property that you have. Now the next area is professional liability. Now, especially if you're in the healthcare field, you need to make sure that you have professional liability insurance. Again, like I mentioned in general liability, make sure that you have the needed limits versus the required limits. So this is also referred to as errors and omissions insurance. I carry it and most professionals carry it. And in a lot of cases, it's required. So if you're a professional and you're conducting something, especially where you're dealing with people, their money, or their health, make sure that you have your E&O coverage. Again, professional liability protects you as a professional. So the last area I want to cover is your commercial auto insurance. Now, commercial auto insurance, a lot of small business owners try to avoid it. It's very, very important that if you have somebody who's working for you, or if you use a vehicle specifically for business purposes, you need to make sure that it's covered under your commercial auto insurance and not your personal auto insurance. Why? Because in the event that there is a claim or an accident, especially if it's an employee who's driving one of your vehicles and they hit somebody and you don't have it insured properly, you can be declined on the claim by the insurance company, and that alone could put you out of business. So, thanks so much. If you've got any questions, feel free to give us a call, 702-432-5551. And also, we can be emailed, info@nlsins.com.
For all of your insurance needs, log on to www.nlsins.com.